If you woke up this morning with stiff, aching joints or chronically cold hands, your body is actively rusting from the inside out. 600,000 Americans die annually from preventable cardiovascular failure. You have been told the primary trigger is cholesterol. That is a dangerous half-truth. It is a microscopic friction you can halt tomorrow morning for about 2 cents. Clinical researchers at the USDA Human Nutrition Research Center and authors in the New England Journal of Medicine validate a protocol that 100-year-old doctors have used for decades. They do not look at cholesterol. They look at the structural integrity of your blood vessels. They recorded a massive 38% reduction in C-Reactive Protein. Not in years. In weeks. There is a specific compound that acts like a pressure valve for your entire circulatory system. It strips the rust. But if you are like 90% of adults, your morning cup of coffee is destroying it before it even reaches your bloodstream. We will detail that exact morning sequence in a moment. But this devastating internal rust does not just happen by accident. It is an engineered biological siege, and you are likely fueling it every single afternoon. Modern medicine calls it silent microinflammation, measured clinically as C-Reactive protein. But understand it for what it physically is. It is internal rust. Look at the inner lining of your blood vessels. The endothelium. When healthy, it is a frictionless Teflon coating. Blood glides. Nutrients flow. But oxidative stress acts like liquid sandpaper. It scratches the arterial wall at a microscopic level. You eat processed oils. You eat refined carbohydrates. The resulting sugar molecules and free radicals circulate like shrapnel. They tear the Teflon. The damage attracts inflammatory proteins. They latch onto the scratches. They harden. They crystallize. The rust sets in. Your biological pipes stiffen. They lose their elasticity. The hydraulic pump in your chest must work twice as hard to push thick, congealed sludge through narrowing corridors. Stop. Look at your hands right now. Are they cold? That is not poor circulation. That is structural blockage. The rust has choked off the micropiping at your extremities. The hydraulic pressure drops. The blood cannot reach the terminal valves. Standard medicine prescribes statins to lower cholesterol. But statins ignore the rust. The clinical researchers at the New England Journal of Medicine proved that patients with low cholesterol but high C-Reactive protein still face lethal cardiovascular events. The pipes remain brittle. The friction remains. The daily wear and tear continues to erode the vessel walls. This invisible rust chokes off your microcirculation. But those same clinical trials uncovered a natural chemical that acts like a biological crowbar. It forces those collapsed vessels wide open. It restores hydraulic pressure. To strip away this internal rust and restore hydraulic flow to your extremities, you do not need a prescription pad. You just need to open your pantry and locate one specific, ancient pod. It is the whole clove. Not a complex, engineered supplement. A raw, unextracted pod containing a volatile, highly active compound called Eugenol. Eugenol is a biological rust converter. It physically intercepts the NF-κB pathway in your cells. That pathway is the master switch for systemic inflammation. Eugenol shuts off the factory producing the rust. It acts as a premium lubricant for your endothelium. It triggers heavy vasodilation. Your pipes widen. The sludge dissolves. The friction stops. But you do not swallow it whole. You do not cook it. The execution protocol is absolute. You take 1 to 2 whole cloves. First thing in the morning. On a completely empty stomach. 30 minutes before any food. You place them in your mouth. You chew for 3 to 5 minutes. You extract the bitter, numbing juices and mix them with your saliva. You swallow the extracted liquid. You spit out the fibrous, woody remains. The mechanism activates immediately. You feel a slight numbing on your tongue. That is the eugenol entering your mucosal tissue. But you must protect this chemical reaction. You remember the morning coffee mistake. Washing this extraction down with coffee pours battery acid into the fuel tank. The high acidity of the coffee instantly neutralizes the volatile eugenol. It destroys the active compound before it reaches your gut lining. You wait 20 minutes. No coffee. No acidic drinks. Just water. But do not go to your pantry and grab that jar of clove powder. It is entirely dead. Pre-ground clove powder loses 60% of its active eugenol within weeks of grinding. You are eating sawdust. You need the intact pod. The volatile oils must remain trapped inside until your teeth break the seal. You are told to buy $60 antioxidant supplements. Isolated resveratrol pills. Berries shipped across the world. The USDA Human Nutrition Research Center measured the oxygen radical absorbance capacity. The ORAC score. Whole cloves possess a significantly higher score than almost any engineered superfood. 2 cents a day matches the clinical output of synthetic pharmacology. Why did our great-grandparents put whole cloves in heavy, fatty stews? Because they understood biological defense. They did not have the vocabulary for oxidative stress. They just knew the hydraulic system required regular maintenance. You can amplify this architecture. Simmer 4 whole cloves in 1 cup of water. Let it cool. You now possess a clinical-grade mouthwash. The Journal of Indian Society of Periodontology proved it disrupts the structural foundation of bacterial biofilms in the mouth. It stops the oral bacteria from migrating to the heart valve. Or you crush 2 cloves with a half teaspoon of turmeric into warm milk. Golden clove milk. The curcumin combines with the eugenol. It creates a synergistic hydraulic expansion. The vessels open. The blood flows. You now possess the exact protocol to rebuild your vascular foundation. But knowing the mechanics is only half the battle. The true test begins tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Remember the stiff joints. The heavy, sluggish friction when your feet hit the floor. Tomorrow morning, you execute the protocol. You chew. You swallow the extract. You spit the wood. You wait the 20 minutes. Imagine waking up in 7 days. You step out of bed. The joints are fluid. The grinding friction is gone. You look at your hands. They are warm. The micropiping is clear. Your cardiovascular system operates with the smooth elasticity it had 20 years ago. The internal rust is stripped away. The pump works without resistance. Modern disease is not an inevitable decline. It is an environmental poisoning. Your body is a self-cleaning machine capable of repairing its own architecture if we remove the interference. Your kitchen pantry contains clinical-grade, life-extending medicine. You just lost the ancient instruction manual on how to dose it. You are reclaiming that manual now. The endothelium is listening. The hydraulic system is ready for calibration. In the next protocol, we dismantle the one breakfast food that reverses everything you just learned. It sits in 90% of kitchens. It accelerates the rust. We will take it apart completely.